Hello, Mariah. You, you're muted.
Hi,
Hey,
I'm just seeing I have shavings in my hair.
how are you doing?
You doing?
How are those? Is it alpacas or llamas?
Alpacas, yeah.
Okay, they're
They're
more
good.
the more refined beast.
Yeah. Slightly more refined, yeah.
Yeah,
There's I find them to be wise
yeah.
in a weird way.
Um,
How are you? Are you managing with this ice?
well, it's been cold. You probably feel it.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, yeah, it's just too windy to be outside.
Yeah.
I
I have
know.
all the horses, everybody's in the barn. They've been in the barn for 3 days.
Yeah, no, it's supposed to be the whole week.
Yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do.
Yeah, I've
It's just
never.
too icy for them to be out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, at least it's not 39 below. I think
That's true.
that's the
Where where is it 39 below?
someplace out west, like South
Oh,
Dakota or some godforsaken place.
awful.
Yeah.
No, this is plenty cold for me.
Hello, Mateo.
Hey, good evening.
Hello there.
Oh, sorry about my dogs.
What's up?
Sorry about my dogs.
Oh yeah, right. We were just talking about how cold it is. It's supposed to be cold for a week.
Yeah, but then it's all going to turn around. It's going to start warming up. The maple sap will start flowing. Everything will be great.
All right.
But
Optimism.
yeah,
It'll happen eventually.
it's yeah, my driveway's like a Olympic luge right now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
we're
that
under four
wind.
inches of ice.
Yeah.
We may have to leave for a few minutes about halfway through our meeting today,
Okay.
to let you know.
Mhm. Yeah. Where is everybody? Yep. There we go. Hello, Bert. So I think Leslie's not going to make it, and we're missing. What are we missing? And nor is Erin. Erin had something come up. She's tied up. Um, but she promised she'd be around the next time. So in fact, we may not be able to really get into the archive question very far. I don't know.
I did. I'll just say I did speak with her, and she had a couple of things to pass
Yeah.
on, but that
Okay.
I can mention. But
All right.
I can wait till we get to that point.
Yeah. 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 And I'm expecting a call from Karen. I actually spoke to her this morning.
Oh,
I hope she can call us. She calls me and then I patch her in. Mariah, did you get the attachments I sent you?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Yeah, I just sent a couple attachments that were because we didn't have your true email. I think it may have
Oh, so they were being sent to.
I think they were sent originally to the wrong email, and
Okay.
our mistake. But I think we've got it down now.
Yeah, let me look it up.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I would suggest we get started. We have a quorum. Um, Start time. Call it 7:05.
Good.
Um, right. So let's get right to the to the guide board. Um, I I have something I wanted to get out immediately. Um, we I was at the meeting with the select board, and they did vote uh, favorably on all three items: the cement pad, the roofing, and moving the structure back a ways. So those were all voted on. Uh, and But then I looked at the description sent by the Williamstown folks, and it reads in a way that, and I will share that with you. Let me see if I can find it. Just wanted to be sure that we have all our you know our ducks in a row here, because the details can be a problem. Um, so let me hold on one second. Oh, right. Okay, let's.
You're muted.
Any of you guys lose power with the storm?
No.
I can't believe it, honestly. We lost
Really?
trees.
No.
A lot of trees down?
Hmm.
Well, there are other towns that lost power, but not here yet, apparently. All right. Here we
Did
go.
you?
You're asking me?
Yeah, did you lose power?
Not really, but I'm not there.
Ah, you're worried.
Oh.
Mhm. Ah, there it is. Can you see that on the screen there?
Yep.
Yes,
Can you see that?
yes,
Yeah, okay. So it's Williamstown, yes. Option B, the one we chose. And how it reads is shingles to peak. And so I don't know if you remember, but we were going round and round with this, um, thinking it would look more like pre 1970s version with the little square thing on top. Do you recall?
Yep.
yeah,
So this seems to say that there is nothing on there except shingles. Do you follow?
yes. Did they get a copy of that picture?
It was in the original application that Miriam sent, but I don't know to what extent they've been using that.
Yeah. Well, this is a critical point. I just, went back and looked at it and thought, okay, so yeah, I don't know if they have any idea what that would look like if it were that square pad on top, you see. Right? We have no way of going back to that. And you know,
Right? Didn't it have that some variation on that when it went to Williamstown?
It had the cupola.
Yeah. And is that basically what we're asking for now? Is some form of the cupola?
No, no.
I'm trying to remember now. Sorry.
It's the one you like, Janice.
I know, and I remember that, but I can't remember which one it was after all this.
That's a low square at the top. I mean,
Yep. It's like
narrow.
a 1 to 2 inch square on top,
Okay.
In the
uh,
center.
at the
Okay.
center.
Thank you.
And I spoke with Bob Groves,
Uh-huh.
who has dealt with it before. Um, he didn't think there was any any you know particular value in having that extra piece, the one that's on there that was on there recently. Uh, that structurally, but it still begs the question. Here in the proposal from Williamstown, it's shingles to peak, and that I read that as there's nothing there except shingles.
I mean,
Yeah.
I can confirm with them that what we're looking for is specifically what's in that image, and I actually have a better resolution image that I can send to them now of that picture.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I had assumed that's what they were describing here with option B, but
Yeah, yeah.
you're right that it's not clear.
It doesn't say to peak in this little thing here, right?
Where?
It doesn't actually say to peak.
Oh, yeah, yeah. No, no, no. We're looking. Are you seeing? Oh, you're not seeing this, right?
Option B, no cupola.
No
Oh,
cupola.
I see. There it is, right at the top. I was
Yeah,
looking at the bullets. Oh, okay. Single
yeah,
to peak.
yeah.
Oh, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Yep.
It shouldn't be a big deal
It shouldn't.
to
And
get them to add it or something.
well, either that or yeah. I mean, maybe they have feedback on how they would do it and whether or not it's even worthwhile. Maybe it could be uh, it could maintain the structural integrity regarding water damage. Not having that, I don't know, but um, anyway, it's put it out there. We still have time, yes, and I would assume that the select board is not going to quibble over this distinction. Let's hope not,
Mm-hmm.
because I presented it as the pre 1970s version.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, good.
with
So Mateo, you're going to check in with them then?
Yeah, I'll ask Williamstown to confirm, and I'll also send them the
Yeah,
better
the
resolution
image.
picture of those,
Okay,
so they know
great.
exactly what it is that we're looking for. And I would imagine, I think Henry's right. You know, this is something that we should have lined up before any funding or anything comes from a vote at town meeting for a CPA grant. But I can't
Yep.
imagine the select board will be, you know. I think this is a question for the historical commission, right? Like this,
Yeah.
Yeah.
this is about making sure it aligns with what the images that we have of the object originally.
So what do you all think? Are you still want to have that square on top, or make it what they have now, which is a shingles to peak? It may also make a difference in the price. Is it- huh?
But probably not that much difference. It's not that
Yeah.
fancy an extra piece, right?
I mean, I would also add, like, if the question that we're debating here is about whether or not there are shingles, it's not clear from the photo what the roofing material is on the object. Um, I myself wouldn't call that a peak, but I suppose because it is raised on four sides, it comes to something of a peak. I think you're right, though. We need some clarification from Williamstown what that phrase means.
But are we saying our preference is for it to look as much like the original piece that or at least the oldest
Yeah.
picture we have, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think so, right? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Uh, uh,
Okay.
And maybe get some feedback on what that would involve structurally. Maybe they have some ideas on that.
Okay.
All right, so that's pending, and we're in time. Yes, Matteo.
Yep, the applications went to the CPC, so
Okay.
those are going to be, I mean, Henry and I are both on that committee, so we can answer questions from the other committee members about the request for funding. But yeah, we're on schedule.
So should we? Well, you'll find out, but maybe should we discuss this on Thursday at the meeting?
The question about the shingles to peak.
Yeah. Mhm.
I mean, I can email them tonight, and then if we have information before the Thursday CPC meeting, we can share that with them. But if we don't, I think we'd still be recommending, of the two options that Williamstown's presented, option B.
Yeah.
But I think that some clarification, definitely before town meeting, preferably before the CPC votes, which is not on Thursday. That committee won't be voting for a couple of months.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, someone had Janice.
No, I think that's good, and I'm really glad that you noticed that, Henry. Just so we don't have any last minute surprises.
Well, that's pretty much it on that.
That's good.
And the only other thing is I've been sent. This is part of a we call this. This is an agreement that I gather I am supposed. Yes, there's my name. I will be signing this at some point. You see that?
Yeah.
Yep. Well, this is the agreement to move on this phase. Yep.
Did you sign the previous one, or did the select board?
I think that the select board signed it. Yeah,
Awesome.
Rita Farrell signed the last one.
Yeah.
So that's probably what we should be doing still, right?
Yeah.
Possibly, but we want to make sure that it comes out of the CPC line.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, we'll have to impress them. Let them know that other than that, I don't see anything. Matteo, any other updates on this?
No, I mean, the only thing I was going to say is that the application or the two applications are in to the CPC for funding. And it's really contingent on the select board signing off, since they technically own or have jurisdiction over the guide board and the town common. But if they're on board with it, that's great. And I think that getting some clarification from Williamstown about what the exact work that option B involves is probably a good idea,
Yeah.
especially because we're going to have to present this to town meeting, assuming it passes CPC.
Okay. Any other thoughts on this?
So I'm just wondering what Mateo just said about we still need the select board approval. Does that mean we just need something in writing from them or something? Because didn't you just get that at the meeting? But I understand if you need something more formal,
I
or
don't
how does
know.
that work?
I assumed that once they voted on it, this is a go.
Yeah,
Okay.
if they voted on it that last, I mean, I wasn't there, but if Henry
Okay.
said they voted on it, then
They approved.
all I have to do is give them the document to sign, and they can put their signature on it, whoever signs it. And
Okay.
Yep.
I think this came up at our last meeting, though. We should probably, obviously, once the snow is gone, go out there and sort of place precisely where we expect to move it back a little bit, and where we want to have that concrete pad put in. Because once that foundation is laid, we're not going to be able to move it around.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
If there are no other thoughts on this, then we'll keep you posted on the CPC session
Good.
next time around, or if there's anything that comes up in between.
So you said it's this Thursday is a CPC meeting on
Mhm.
this?
The CBC meeting this Thursday is is the chance for the committee to ask questions of grant applicants.
Okay.
And then there is a sort of provisional meeting for further questions if the committee is looking for more information on March 20th. April 3rd is March 6th is the tentative meeting. March 20th is the meeting to vote on the applications.
Okay.
So by March 20th, that would be the best time to have an answer from Williamstown about the shingles thing.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Just as we're talking about this, because I'm always thinking of every stone that might be turned here,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking, would it be worthwhile running this by Steve Smolsky just to get his input on the roofing, which would be structurally more protective for the whole thing?
I thought Bert already did that.
Yeah,
Did you?
based on what he said about the cupola,
Yes.
I don't think he would have a different opinion about it this time with the smaller surface at the top.
And what? Sorry, just
What
remind
he
us.
said was that he said that structurally he didn't think it made any difference
Okay,
with
yeah,
the
okay,
cupola or without.
great. Yeah, thanks for
Good.
that slipped my mind there. All right, well, I guess Karen did not get around to calling me,
Uh,
and yeah. Anyway,
okay.
all right. Moving on. Shall we? Let's see. I'm looking at the. Where's our agenda here? Um,
You can just check if there's any public comment. I don't think there is, but just to check that off.
I don't know if there is one. There's nobody else here.
Yeah.
No, I was just looking for the. Oh, we need to approve some minutes,
Mhm.
and let's see. Let's see. Um, Take them in alphabetical order.
Not chronological.
Chronological, yeah. Yeah. Where's the second one? Eric's. Right. So there we go. So you should see it on the screen there. Okay.
Mhm.
Did folks get a chance to look at this? It's a little dated. It brings back some memories, doesn't
Yes.
it?
That we've been talking about this for a long time, but we are making wonderful progress. So that's the good
Yes.
part.
Things do get resolved eventually. Okay, no, this is very thorough and a lot of detail here.
I tried to summarize
Yep.
as much as possible, keep it to one page if that's possible.
Yeah, the whole gazebo thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I looked at it quickly. I didn't see anything. Anybody have any thoughts on this? It was
I read it. I'm fine with it.
okay. Um, so if there are no other thoughts, let's vote to approve minutes for September 3rd, 2024. Let's see. Uh, going around.
Oh, we got to second it. Someone has to
Oh,
second
second.
it.
Yes. Do I hear a second?
Yes, I second.
Mm,
All right, good.
Hey. So we got we'll go alphabetical order. Geddes, I. Oh, who's gonna come?
Semi-alphabetical.
Semi. Hernandez. I'm reading O'Brien.
I
I'm reading O'Brien there.
Oh, okay.
You don't look like no. Pangalo,
Hey,
sure.
Does it matter that I was not there for this? For that
It
meeting?
doesn't. You can
Oh, I.
abstain too, but it doesn't matter actually.
It doesn't? I didn't know.
no.
Well, that's what I heard at a meeting of the CPC, that people who did not attend can vote on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Beautifully written. Nice.
What do you say then?
Oh, I said I.
Okay. And Stone.
Aye,
All right. Passes.
thank you.
All right. So our next up is, okay, I'm going to share this draft minutes. All right. There we go. For both of these, might mention that Karen was absent.
I didn't know whether to include that. I had stopped
Really?
doing the absent thing, and it's up to you guys. I can do it if you
Well, I
want.
don't know. Isn't that technically? I don't know. I guess it doesn't really matter.
I don't know.
Um, we voted on minutes and update on the old guide board. Yeah. Yeah.
At some point, we'll get back to enforcement and the
Yeah.
historical commission account.
Yep. All right. I see nothing here
I was glad that you wrote down that the select board wishes to have it remain unprotected,
Yeah.
so that it's clear that we wanted something different when they have to fix it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any thoughts on this? Any comments?
What if we, just this sort of brings us up again, the thing about the concrete. Have we figured out who can do the concrete yet, or is that still to be determined for the actual work?
We have.
Yeah, so
Okay.
there was so I can find it. I contacted 6 local concrete excavator companies,
Uh-huh.
and I only heard back from one.
Okay.
Let's see here. Dean Concrete.
Okay.
I mean, if the excuse me, if the CPA grant comes through, then we'll issue a formal, request for bids to all of them.
Yeah.
Um, but that was based off of just what Dean Concrete.
Okay. Okay, good. Thank you.
I did ask the highway department, and they said they couldn't do it.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I see nothing here that. Shall we move to someone to make a motion here?
Move to accept the minutes for October 15th as written.
Second,
Any other discussion? So go around. Fernandez.
aye.
Geddes, I. Pangalo,
Aye.
Shore,
Aye.
and Stone.
Aye. Did you vote, Henry?
I thought I did. Geddes, I.
Yeah, you did.
Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't catch it. So, okay. Thanks.
Okay.
Good. And so I'll finalize these and send them to you to send to the clerk.
Um,
Archives?
the archives. So, as I said, Erin had something that came up, and she's actually inundated with work, I think is what it is. But maybe Mateo has other thoughts that she wanted to share.
Yeah, I mean, I talked with her briefly about this, and what she would love to do is try to. She has some contacts with not Mass Historical, but the gosh, what's it called? It's the one in Worcester. I forget what it's called now.
The Athenaeum?
That's not the Athenaeum. It's gosh.
Well, whatever.
Let's see here. Is it the Mass Historical Society or something? Anyway,
Okay.
it's individuals who are, professional archivists, essentially.
Okay.
And what you would like to do is have somebody come and speak with us about developing a plan to sort of prioritize particular records and develop a consistent system of cataloging and establishing some metadata before we start digitizing stuff and
Mm-hmm.
developing all that. So that is basically what she was describing to me as the first step in the process. She has not gone in to look through the materials yet. I think she's going to reach out to Leslie about getting in there and seeing what's actually in there.
Mm-hmm.
But that's basically what she said to me is she wants to start with a discussion about how to approach this and how to catalog, and then move on to the actual work for second.
Right.
I'll see if I can find anything. At one point, and I think Henry, you were on the historical commission
Yes.
then. There was another woman who was on for a little while who was an archivist, and she presented us with a bunch of material, which was a little overwhelming, trying to categorize, catalog, and prioritize, and everything like that. I'll see if I can find it too. I assume it's going to be similar,
Yeah, I
but
mean,
I think it's good to relearn that and then figure out how to actually move forward on it.
yeah. One of the other things that Aaron mentioned was that, and maybe this came up before as well, is that given the limited resources of a small town like ours, that it's a good idea to partner with an institution like UMass or somebody and
Ah,
work with them to be a host basically for
ah,
the material. Um, but that, I don't want to speak for Erin. That's just something that
okay.
she was talking about. Um, I think, she and I were both having that conversation without a full awareness of exactly what's in the archive.
Yeah. And I believe that that idea was brought up before, particularly, I guess there's a department there at UMass that does related work anyway on historical archives. But yeah, and Janice wasn't there some official person who showed up
Yes.
and gave a presentation? Is that who you're referring to?
No, no, that's someone else too. And I think that person worked with Leslie. I mean, and then going way back
Yeah.
before you, but not before Karen, we had this guy, Bill, I think his name was Carol, come in and look at the whole collection. And he came in as like a consultant or something. And it was very interesting. And he tried to help in terms of telling us some things that were, records that already existed at the state level that you weren't going to have to worry about. Some of those big bound books that are in the old town hall. So there have been a couple times, but it's been quite a space of time between them. And there's probably some new ideas and ways of dealing with things now than what we were looking at before. I think one thing that we thought about that I'd still like to see perhaps is once we get the big picture and have to start trying to figure out how to break it down, to maybe choose a focal point as a test project, and whether it's something like, I don't know if Lake Wyola is too big or not, but some particular facet of town that we could look at the records and go through the process, and even to the point of being able to maybe find a way to get it digitized or something, rather than thinking about the whole big picture, because there are families, I mean, there's town government, there are the churches, there's lots of different information in there. There's some archaeological sort of stuff and like Native American cultural stuff, not very much, but a little bit of that. There's just lots and lots of stuff that at this point is in folders in an orderly fashion, but there's lots of folders and lots of file drawers and lots, so to make it practical, to come down to an idea of something in town that we can then actually do as a first project to sort of get our feet wet and understand what's involved, and feel like we can figure out the system. So you might be thinking about what might be an interesting idea, something about the town that, I think we were looking at it too as something that maybe part of the reason to get it digitized is so that the public who may be interested would have a chance to use additional material. So maybe in that case, you want to, I don't know, choose a founding family or something. I don't know, but
Janice, do you know, so I would love to see like a display case of historical documents and artifacts in the new library. Do you know if the new
oh yeah.
library plan has like a special collection room or section where anything might be kept, or is it going to be just purely like general circulation kind of stuff?
I know they talked about it early on, and I don't know what the status is on that. Um, it'd be good to find out. Most libraries do try to incorporate something like that, and I'm pretty sure that they intended to, but I
I
don't
can
know.
find that.
Yeah, that would be really cool to know.
I mean, I will say that, um, in 2006, the CPA was amended to include documents and records. So if there's like a project at some point that involves spending money on archiving kind of stuff, there is CPA funding for that. It's a little fuzzy because the historical commission has to vote, or the historical commission has to decide that a particular record or set of records or category is historical, and then it will qualify for CPA funding because it's not like a registry of like the state register or something like
Yeah.
that, properties and
Okay.
stuff. So we would have to decide that these documents are historical, whatever. But there is money for that in the CPA. I will say the CPA historical account is pretty low right now. And it's about to be pretty lower because in addition to the two um, grants that we're presenting for the guide board, the cemetery commission is asking for historical money for West Cemetery, and the Lake Wyola Advisory Committee is asking for it for the dam. So that's going to have to be replenished pretty soon. But technically, an archiving project would qualify for CPA money.
Okay.
Right.
All right. That's good. Thanks.
Lots of possibilities there. So for next meeting, perhaps we could um, have some of these things a little bit more nailed down in terms of what we've done so far, and of course Leslie will be available as well. She wrote to me that she couldn't make it tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, but she was very interested in being a part of this discussion.
Oh yeah, she's the brain of that, the organization and the files and everything over there, and she's the one who provides the the research as we need it. But on the other hand, she's also willing to, have other people get involved. That she can't do it forever or won't do it forever, but for now, she's a wonderful resource.
All right, Mariah, any thoughts on your end? I guess it should start up at some point. Get things rolling here.
No, I think I'm gonna refer to Aaron for everything regarding this, and to sort of be helping hands where needed. And as long as you guys are okay with that, I think that's the best position for me to be in right now.
Whatever. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm still learning very much like how these committees operate and are organized and things like that. So I'm going to be in a position of observation probably for a while.
Uh,
A few protocols here and there. But
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to be discussing things outside of a meeting unless perhaps on a one-on-one basis by email. Let's say you can send information, that kind of stuff. Well, you may have learned about this, yes? This is
Um,
what is it called? Open meeting law, right? This is the
yeah.
yes. Yeah, so there's some details there.
I was just wondering, have you guys, I mean, we used to have to do those conflict of interest training and certificates. I haven't been asked for one in ages. Have you?
Yeah.
Just just when you were appointed or since then as well?
It's a set period of time after
Yeah.
depending on whatever the period of tenure
But
is for your particular position.
that's what I thought.
Oh.
But it hasn't happened. It hasn't happened in the Pelham where I work, and it hasn't happened in the previous town that I worked in.
You want some of mine? Because I'm getting a lot of them.
No.
I mean, I guess I would talk to Grace about it and find out, what's going
Yeah.
on. But it's like,
Yeah. We used to get, some kind of emails from the town clerk saying it's that time of year, here's the link, do your certificates, that sort of thing. Mariah, did you get a notice or something to do that?
I haven't. I actually have plans to go talk to Grace tomorrow, though. So if she's there,
Okay,
so
yeah.
I can ask her
Yeah.
when I go.
Okay, because usually when you get appointed and sworn in, you get a whole bunch of paperwork. But that's usually a part of it. Okay, I've just been wondering about that. It's just not like, okay, maybe nobody cares anymore. Maybe it's not mandatory anymore.
Well, I was never asked about conflict of interest
Yeah, see,
that I recall.
yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
so
I don't
Keep you
remember.
posted.
well, that's it for the agenda. Unless there's any unanticipated business.
I have two quick things, if that's all right.
Okay.
So today, the new head of the highway department came into my office at town hall and dropped off a big stack of photographs and old town reports from like 1912 through the 1960s.
Oh,
Most of the so the photos, Tim Hunting apparently had been accumulating these. Um, most of the photos are from the 2000s, and they're pictures. They're basically glamour shots of highway department equipment that they purchased.
no.
I guess they were documenting the equipment and some of the road work they were doing. A lot of the road photos are maybe interesting for archival purposes, but they didn't identify which specific road they were on, so it's hard to tell in some cases.
Oh,
But there are a handful, maybe about like 2 dozen or so, of genuinely interesting historical photos that go back into the early 20th century, like 1910s, 1920s, that were just sitting in the highway department building.
oh,
Um,
okay.
so I'm gonna try to digitize them, and then I'm gonna talk with Leslie about putting them in the in storage in an old town hall so they can be, kept appropriately.
Do we have a formal process for doing that kind of thing? Because I've had, John Kinder offered me, he said he had a bunch of photos that he got from his father or somebody that are very old. It's like, at least, I mean, over 100 years old for sure. And that he
Oh,
wanted to share them, share copies. He wants to keep the originals, but is that something that we have a venue for taking in those photos or and looking at them at least and see if we want to keep them somewhere?
I think so. I think that's something that sometimes Leslie ends up doing. When when she was a town clerk and she still works in town hall, that if anything came across her desk or through town hall that she noticed that was of interest, she'd make a copy of it for our files or something like that. So it might be interesting to see that, or maybe to ask her, you know, how that would work. But what I would like, what Mateo was just saying about like digitizing the photos and stuff, it would be nice if we could figure out how to maintain some kind of file of that sort of digital material as well. Before we get the whole thing straightened out for the time being, if we're starting to collect things and some of it is digital, how do we go about? Do we put them on thumb drives and put them in old town hall, or on
Yeah.
CDs, or what? You know?
I mean, maybe the safest way to do it is to have a cloud drive. I mean,
Mhm.
the historical commission has a town email address, which means we have a town Google account. And if we have a Google Drive, that's a place where we could store those things. They wouldn't be subject to the vagaries of like a physical object like a thumb drive.
Yeah,
And then we could even link to them, from the historical commission website if people wanted to just look at that stuff. But I imagine this would also be part of that conversation with Aaron about archiving. Um,
yeah,
to have I think you're right. We need to have a policy about acquisition or accession, I guess,
yeah, yeah.
because some of these
Okay.
things we probably don't want to keep, we don't need to keep, but some of them are definitely useful. And I also don't know, like, I'm assuming we have all the old town reports, so I don't know what to do with the highway department's old copies. So what do we do with these things? Like, I don't want to throw out a town report from 1912. That seems kind of significant.
Hmm,
So,
And there may
yeah,
be others in town. I'm thinking of anybody whose last name is Plaza, for example.
hmm,
Has been around several generations, right? I think
yeah,
there's a street named after that name. The athletic club is largely due to the Plaza family initiative, I think.
uh-huh.
Um, anyway, uh, they may have photographs. They may have other things that they could share. So at
I'm
some point,
happy, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm happy to digitize whatever you guys have as a in the meantime kind of thing as well. I mean, this is my setup behind me. But I think, I mean, the way that Leslie explained it to me was that, you know, once it's like in her hands or, you know, at town hall, that I couldn't take it home to scan it. So
Oh,
I don't know, you know, if like as a uh, chain of custody issue,
mhm,
for lack of a better term. But you know, if that's something that
mhm,
you're interested in, I would say at a minimum, you know, to everything should be stored in two locations. So I would do a cloud um, drive and then uh, an external hard drive in two additional places.
I think that would be really helpful for, if you could do that, like for people who want to just let us borrow their photos. And then you can digitize it and we can return them.
Yeah,
mhm,
absolutely.
yeah,
town photo
yeah,
I can
album.
definitely do that.
I'm sure, Mariah. I'm sure you will be able to work out some arrangement with Leslie, given that you're working on this stuff and you have the equipment at home, right?
I do, yeah. I mean, I can bring it to town hall or to, you know, the office center. It's just
Yeah.
this is broken down right now. So it's large and it would require a sort of a
Well,
move-in process, but
I
um
I think Leslie has a system, or can have a system where people, you could check it out. You in particular, since you're working on it. Anyway, that's
mhm,
something to be negotiated.
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, that's good. I think we'll start coming up with ideas and things like that. I think part of that thing, Mateo, of getting that stuff delivered to you isn't town hall being told to sort of purge their older files? I thought there was something about that last time. And so
Yeah.
that may be what the highway department new guy is doing.
Yeah. I mean, so yeah, the highway department had a lot of old stuff that they were just getting rid of. And there was stuff they decided that they shouldn't just get rid of. And that's what, some of this was. And a large part of what's happening, I think, is trying to, they're setting aside Old Town Hall. Town Hall has a lot of overflow of records and
Mhm,
boxes and equipment, and things that are no longer used. And the state has a record retention policy. And so that's sort of being adopted. I know that on my end, for the boards that I work for, I've been asked to digitize everything before anything gets destroyed. Um, but I don't know that other committees or departments are necessarily doing that. I'm sure they're complying with the
mhm,
state record retention schedule. But I also don't know what else is just getting,
mhm.
tossed. And
Ah,
like I think at one point we had talked about maybe developing some kind of
oh, a letter.
yeah, or a statement about like what constitutes historical significance as guidelines, because in the records retention schedule from the state, there is a specific exemption for historical records. The problem is it's just like one sentence long and it says records that are historical will be retained. It doesn't say, what that means or how to define it. And like, who else other than the historical commission is going to make that determination?
Mm,
At the last select board I was at, I did bring it up. And of
good.
course, they really didn't want to talk about it at that time. But I mean, if we think it's important enough, I could arrange to be at a meeting bringing this up.
Well, I think I wonder if we should be even more proactive. And I think, maybe with Leslie, Mariah, and Aaron's like, and maybe Janice's, there's the expertise here to develop, to draft a statement about like what constitutes an historical document. Does it have to do with the scale of what it's describing? Does it have to do with a specific property, like Janice mentioned, like Wyola? Does it have to do with the age of the document? Is it all of those? Is it a combination of those things? And like at least have that as guidance coming from us. I don't know that we need to get the select board's permission to issue that kind of a letter to the other committees and departments, but just so that like there's something, I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm being alarmist, but I do wonder about like how much stuff is just being not out
yeah,
of not out of carelessness, right? Not out of like a
yeah,
lack of concern, but just because like the instruction is get rid of these things. So now
great.
that's what we do to comply with the state law.
Well, yeah, well, not so much to get permission, but just to be sure that nothing does get thrown out that might be of interest, you know. Just-
Yeah. And I also don't think that that everybody's carefully going through every single folder in every single
No,
box.
Yeah.
Saying,
yeah,
do we keep this piece of paper? Do we keep that piece of paper? I'm just saying, like, if there's a folder that's, you know, 1940 or something, like
yeah.
maybe we keep that one.
Mhm.
Has
Um,
anybody spoken to other historical commissions about this? Like what
No, I was just
they're
wondering
doing?
about
Is
that.
that a thing that's possible? Even I don't know.
I can check in with like the Amherst Historical. I would think that they'd be pretty proactive on this sort of stuff and see if they've developed some kind of a statement or description or policy or something.
And there is kind of what is it? It's a well, it's a network here of historical commission uh, officials around the state, and they're communicating online. It's
Oh,
what is it called now? Mass
And
preservation,
listserv.
like that, Massachusetts preservation. But that would be a good place to post something like this uh,
Oh my.
because it would reach
do
all
you
the towns.
do you have that
I do,
information?
I do.
Okay, why don't you do that then? That would be good too. You think it's called Mass Historical Preservationists or something like
Yeah,
that?
like that. Yeah, let me just here we go.
I remember something a long time ago about that.
Yeah, um, yeah. It's out of University of Massachusetts, Boston. Actually,
Okay,
they're the ones who Mass Historical Preservation.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great if you can do that. See if we get some feedback because other people must be dealing with this.
Hmm. Hmm. All right. So next meeting, any preference? I told well, the folks who are not here tonight, we'll have to get their input as well. But is
Mhm.
there a preference for, let's say, a month from now, or what are we looking at? Today's the 18th.
so
That would
March 18th would be
that would be.
Tuesday.
Yeah,
Is that a Tuesday? Is that the better day for everybody? Is it?
That
that's okay by me.
doesn't work for me, but I'm gonna be away for a month, starting on the 14th of April. Are we talking about
Okay.
March?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, March 18th is fine.
Okay.
Let me just look at the calendar for the town. Um, yeah. That seems to be preferred day for the select board, and
Oh
uh,
yeah.
you just check.
We do have a Zoom link now that we can use.
That's right, and I actually posted this meeting myself, which is new.
Woohoo.
Yeah, no, I assume things are working. Let's see here.
I mean, this brings us the other thing that I wanted to mention is unanticipated, which is when
Uh-huh.
I was talking with Aaron, we kind of were discussing the benefits of having a regularly scheduled meeting, like knowing, for example, if it's always the third Tuesday of the month,
Mhm.
And for folks who have working schedules, that means that we can plan on that every, on a
Ah,
consistent basis going forward. And there may be some folks who can't make it and some, on in certain months, but as long as there's a quorum, we might be more likely to um, consistently have attendance. You know, if we know, 3 months from now, 4 months from now, 6 months from now, 12 months from now, it's always going to be that same date. We can count on it. Well, we can discuss that next
good
meeting,
idea.
but
Yeah, if we get everybody next time, maybe we can then determine, is Tuesday better than Wednesday, or, what, so we can try to make it consistent like that.
yeah. And I think that there are also benefits to, I mean, not that we have tons and tons of members of the public wanting to come speak to us, but it does make things a little bit easier on the public facing end of things to say like, you can always count on the historical commission to have a meeting on this particular day,
Yeah.
of the
Mhm.
month. And if you have things you want to come talk about, that's when you can reach us.
Good idea.
As far as March 18th works, that's good for me. Henry, you're muted.
Yeah, no, I was saying that I'm in a singing group that meets on Tuesdays
Oh,
at 7. Um,
oh,
we're
oh,
singing 16th century music.
wow. So Tuesdays won't be a good day then.
Well, it's not a great day for me, but
Yeah.
it'd be once a month. But anyway, that's something we could consider.
Well, is Wednesday good for people or not as good, or what?
Would it be possible to get a day when we can have the time at 6 o'clock instead of 7?
Well, I was just looking. Let me look at the calendar. Of course, there's no way of really predicting what's going to be on the calendar.
But if we make it a permanent, same time, same day, can they bump us out?
Well, we can have. I think Matteo, correct me if I'm wrong, but there can be at least 2 meetings on a given day. Yeah,
You mean in terms of the town Zoom accounts?
Zoom account, or is it
Oh yeah, there's more than that now. I
more
mean,
than that?
yeah, Gabe
No
has
problem.
gone ahead and like signed up. There are many Zoom accounts now.
Wow,
Okay, all right. So
finally.
that's not a problem.
Yeah. I
So
mean, the only concern I would have is about like if there are people that want to go to one and the other, but then that's not our,
yeah,
we can't arrange around that.
well,
Mm.
yeah. I mean, you just name a day. I mean, any day that any day is available. We could start, let's say, at 5. The select board meets at 5, but that may be a problem for those of you who work until 5.
Yeah, 5 is way too early for me.
Yeah, I mean, could be 5:30 or 6. Yeah.
6 is the earliest that I'd want to do. I'm just
Yeah.
usually not home until about 6, but I can plan on being home by 6. But
Yeah.
um,
Um,
so is Wednesday a possibility for people too, or not as much?
it works for me. I don't know.
Yeah, Wednesday generally works for me too.
And it's okay for me.
What about Bert?
I would prefer Thursday, but I can make it work if it's Wednesday.
Well, um,
Mariah, how
I
about
mean,
you?
if I know ahead of time,
Yeah.
then it should be okay.
I mean, if we can, make that a regular. Mariah, any thoughts?
Um, through the winter, I'm usually pretty flexible.
Okay.
Summertime will be a different situation, but
If we started at 6:30 or 6, I don't know. It seems, does it matter?
The earlier, the
Up to
better,
me.
6 o'clock.
Well,
Be my vote.
I think Janice may have trouble getting it.
I'll do it for 6. I just don't want to do it any earlier than 6.
Yeah. Okay. Shall we say the 19th of March at 6? Is that,
We can try that.
yep,
That work for people?
That works for me.
yep.
Okay,
Yep.
and then we'll have to check in with Leslie and Aaron. But
Mm.
that, you know, was
Yeah.
good.
I'll let
Let's
them
try
know. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay,
Great.
all right, are we done?
Henry, you muted again.
Did it again. How did that happen?
You're muting yourself.
I don't know. It's happened automatically. I think Musk is manipulating. Ah, okay. Well, I move to adjourn for tonight. Do we hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have to move around the room. Fernandez,
Aye.
Geddes, I, Pangal,
Aye.
Shore,
Bye.
Stone.
Aye.
Okay. We will see you all. Stay warm.
All right, thank you.
Safe.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.